Greetings, seekers of truth, and welcome once more to Ancient Wisdom Unlocked. I am your guide, your fellow traveler on a momentous journey not across continents or through uncharted stars, but into the very heart of human understanding. A journey to unearth the soul of what it means to be truly profoundly wealthy. What if I were to illuminate for you today that the grand edifice of success, the shimmering mirage of affluence that so many in the Western world, particularly within the energetic pulse of the American dream chase with breathless abandon, is in essence a meticulously crafted illusion. Imagine a vast, ornate theater, its stage brilliantly lit, where actors strut and fret adorned in the dazzling costumes of material triumph. This spectacle, this financial illusion, is designed with an almost diabolical genius to keep your gaze fixed upon the fleeting drama, to keep you yearning for a role on that stage, while the genuine treasure, the unshakable bedrock of true wealth, remains veiled, hidden, not in some inaccessible vault, but in the luminous, often unexplored chambers of your own inner being. It is accessible always to those who develop the courage and the clarity to turn their gaze within. Today we do not merely scratch the surface, that is for the timid and the uncommitted. No, today we excavate. We take up the tools of discernment and ancient insight to delve into the very bedrock of human motivation, into the silent, potent language of money. A language the truly affluent comprehend with an almost cellular understanding, yet seldom articulate in the common tongue. For the authentic rich mindset is not heralded by the roar of a V12 engine, nor the glitter of 1,000 diamonds. It is announced rather by the quiet, unwavering confidence of a soul, anchored in profound peace, a spirit that knows its own immeasurable worth, irrespective of external adornments. Consider, if you will, the relentless, almost hypnotic parade of opulence that floods your digital streams, your cityscapes, your very consciousness. These are the carefully curated tableaus of success, engineered with sophisticated precision to evoke not aspiration, but a gnawing sense of envy, a feeling of lack. Is this spectacle a testament to genuine human fulfillment? Or is it, as the ancient sages might suggest, merely the clanging cymbals and hollow drums of an empty victory, a festival of shadows? The financial illusion is indeed powerful, a siren song luring countless souls towards the jagged rocks of perpetual dissatisfaction. It whispers the intoxicating lie that a $10,000 handbag can purchase unshakable self-worth, that a sprawling mansion can house a truly contented spirit, that a particular zip code can confer intrinsic value upon a human life. But does it? Can it? Has it ever in the long, winding history of human endeavor? Many whisper that the truly rich, the architects of fortunes, are masters of disguise, phantoms, operating in the impenetrable shadows of high finance and exclusive circles. Perhaps there is a sliver of truth in this, a theatrical element to the dance of power. But the more profound, more liberating truth is that genuine wealth, the kind that resonates from the marrow of your bones, the kind that infuses your presence with an undeniable gravitas, needs no external announcement, no validation from the fleeting applause of the crowd. It simply is. It is a state of being, not a state of having. But before we unmask these deeper, often startling truths, let us consecrate a moment for authentic connection. If these ancient echoes, these whispers from the wellspring of timeless wisdom resonate within the deeper currents of your being, if you feel an undeniable stirring to comprehend a world, a reality that stretches far beyond the glittering, yet ultimately brittle confines of the material, then I invite you to follow this channel. Become an integral part of a burgeoning community, a fellowship dedicated to unlocking not merely the arcane secrets of finance, but the luminous, life-altering wisdom of the ages. And as we embark upon this shared odyssey, I implore you to share your reflections, your epiphanies in the sanctuary of the comments below. For what, in the quietude of your own soul's contemplation, does true wealth truly mean to you? Let us consider an archetype, a figure perhaps familiar in its outline, an individual in a bustling American city, say Chicago or Atlanta, earning a modest, respectable income, perhaps $3,000 a month. This person, diligent and hard-working, might scrimp, save deferring small joys and comforts for 6 months, perhaps even a year, not for a down payment on a humble home, a seed for future security, nor for an educational course to enrich their skills, but for a single designer handbag, a coveted emblem of supposed status. Why this undeniable pull, this magnetic allure? Is it the fantasy of unparalleled craftsmanship, the promise of heirloom quality that will endure for generations? More often than not, the truth is far more poignant. Deep within the societal subconscious, a pervasive narrative has taken root, a seed meticulously planted and relentlessly watered by a culture saturated with conspicuous consumption. Those who have arrived, the elite, the admired, carry these symbols. Therefore, if I too carry this symbol, I will be perceived as one of them. Notice the subtle yet critically devastating shift in that internal logic. The aspiration is not, I will achieve the substance of their success, but rather, I will be seen as possessing the trappings of their success. The hunger is not for the nourishing meal of genuine accomplishment, but for the fleeting taste of its reflection in the eyes of others. This, my friends, is the seductive, treacherous siren song of vanity, a hollow, echoing chamber where authentic self-esteem, the quiet dignity of a self-validated life, should rightfully and peacefully reside. The quest for stealth wealth decoded often begins by understanding these overt displays it seeks to avoid. This relentless chase for external validation, this pervasive financial illusion, can escalate to levels of almost theatrical absurdity. Picture for a moment the modern phenomenon of aspirational influencers who populate the glittering landscapes of social media broadcasting from perceived paradises like Los Angeles, Miami, or New York. These are often individuals keenly, sometimes painfully aware that their tangible bank accounts bear little resemblance to the opulent narratives they meticulously craft for their digital audiences. Yet they engage in elaborate charades, pooling resources with others in similar predicaments, renting exotic cars for a few hours, borrowing designer clothes, gaining fleeting access to exclusive locations, all for that perfect photograph, that transient video clip, that ephemeral moment of perceived celebrated affluence. They are, in essence, performing roles in a grand, often cruel play. They did not write their hearts silently aching for the applause, the likes, the follows, to somehow magically transmute the fiction into a lived reality. Is this not a tragic form of self-imprisonment, a gilded cage constructed bar by bar from the insubstantial yet heavy materials of societal expectation and the desperate fear of being deemed ordinary? Then let us turn our gaze to those who sometimes through a stroke of fortune, sometimes through a sudden meteoric rise in a volatile industry, stumble into vast, almost bewildering fortunes. The nouveau riche, a term often whispered, even in the meritocratic narrative of America, with a complex blend of admiration, envy, and a subtle undercurrent of disdain. Their subsequent behavior is profoundly telling, a rich text for those who wish to understand the psychology of wealth. They often embark on a dizzying, almost frantic spree of acquisitions, a veritable whirlwind of luxury consumption. The louder the logo, the more ostentatious the brand name splashed across their apparel, their vehicles, their very homes, the more gratified they seem to be. Why this compulsion? Is it purely an aesthetic preference for the flamboyant? Or does it betray something deeper? An old, somewhat cynical adage whispers, "Whatever a man conspicuously lacks, that is what he will most aggressively flaunt." I propose a more compassionate yet still discerning understanding. These new inheritors or creators of fortune do not necessarily lack money anymore. That, at least on paper, is no longer their primary deficit. What they often acutely lack is the lineage of wealth, the ingrained, almost unconscious, knowing that they belong to this new stratum. Their wealth is so novel, so shockingly sudden, it can feel almost unreal, an imposter syndrome played out on a grand financial stage. The sheer, unadulterated exhilaration of this sudden ascent from perhaps modest beginnings creates a desperate, almost primal need for external affirmation, for constant resounding validation. Look at me, see what I have become. Acknowledge my arrival, accord me the respect, the admiration, even the envy that my newfound millions now surely command. This performance, it is crucial to understand, is not solely for the benefit of an external audience. It is perhaps even more so for themselves. Each extravagant purchase, each ostentatious display, each carefully orchestrated exhibition of opulence serves as a desperate attempt to solidify their new precarious reality, to shout down the lingering insidious whispers of self-doubt that echo from their past. Yes, this is real. This is not a dream. I am truly, undeniably rich. This is the psychological hallmark of a rich mindset, still in its turbulent infancy, the polar opposite of stealth wealth decoded, which arises from a place of quiet, unshakable assurance. It's a universe away from the profound, liberating peace that embracing a life beyond materialism offers. Now contrast this vibrant, often agitated display with the archetype of what many refer to as old money. The inheritors of fortunes established generations ago, those families whose wealth is woven into the very fabric of their lineage, their upbringing, their cultural DNA. Their relationship with wealth and its expression is often markedly different. Less fanfare, less clamor, more poise. An understated, almost imperceptible confidence. It is not that they are entirely immune to the desire for recognition. That is a deeply human trait. Rather, it is that they typically seek it from a vastly different and far more exclusive audience, their peers, others within their own rarefied stratum. Theirs is often a closed circle, a world governed by unspoken rules, subtle signals, and a shared implicit understanding. Let us revisit the symbolic handbag, that potent emblem of status. The entry-level luxury items, those accessible to the merely affluent, often scream their brand identity from the rooftops with conspicuous logos and identifiable designs. But the truly exclusive pieces, the bespoke creations, the limited editions costing tens, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Think of certain iterations of an Hermes Birkin or a Patek Philippe timepiece, are frequently almost defiantly devoid of obvious overt branding. A classic Birkin costing upwards of $20,000 or $50,000 or even more for rare editions can appear deceptively, almost austerely simple to the untrained, uninitiated eye. You might walk past such an item on Fifth Avenue in New York or Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills, or perhaps even in a quiet cafe in a wealthy enclave like Greenwich, Connecticut, and remain entirely oblivious to its astronomical value unless you are an initiate, a connoisseur, someone who speaks that silent language of hyper-luxury. Why this cultivated subtlety, this deliberate eschewing of ostentation? Because the owner of such an item is typically not endeavoring to impress the masses, the anonymous crowd. They do not need that widespread, indiscriminate validation. The quiet, deeply satisfying thrill comes from a far more nuanced interaction, the moment when another member of their own exclusive world, someone who understands the codes, recognizes the peace. A silent, appreciative nod across a crowded charity gala, an almost imperceptible exchange of knowing smiles at a private art viewing. We understand. We belong. This is the sophisticated social currency of hyper-luxury, a quiet, powerful confirmation of belonging to an exclusive, often impenetrable tribe. This is where the established rich mindset operates on a vastly different, more refined frequency. They are not necessarily avoiding attention altogether. They are with consummate skill curating it, ensuring it comes from the right quarters. This is the very antithesis of the frantic, indiscriminate financial illusion chased with such desperate fervor by so many. This quiet confidence, this dung, this almost untranslatable state of effortless grace, serene self-possession, and imperturbable poise, is born from a bedrock of profound, unshakable certainty. They know their position. They do not require the envious, fleeting gaze of the general populace to confirm their status or their worth. Hence, to the everyday observer, they may indeed appear more humble, more approachable, more genuinely unassuming than the new money individual, still visibly intoxicated by the potent fumes of sudden, unaccustomed fortune. Their humility is not a performance. It is the natural byproduct of having nothing left to prove in the material realm. But is this cultivated, understated elegance of old money the ultimate pinnacle? Is this the final station on the journey to understanding wealth? Or is there a state of being, a level of human enlightenment regarding our relationship with abundance that transcends even this sophisticated detachment? I propose to you, with the conviction of ancient wisdom, that indeed there is. If both the nouveau riche with their clamorous assertions and the old money with their subtle codes still operate in their distinct ways within a system of rules and external validations, there exists a yet more evolved class of individuals who step gracefully outside this entire game. While others compare the minutiae of price tags, the hierarchy of brands, and the relative visibility of logos, these rare souls possess an entirely different quality of dung, a profound, luminous serenity rooted in something far deeper, far more immutable than their fluctuating bank balances or the prestige of their possessions. They have truly discovered the liberating path beyond materialism. They have come to embody the very essence of true wealth. Share in the comments below if you feel so moved. What is one pervasive symbol of success that our modern American society relentlessly promotes, which you, in your own thoughtful discernment, have come to believe is largely a financial illusion? Let us, as a community, begin to unmask these collective delusions together. If you have ever personally felt the insidious pressure to keep up with the Joneses, that uniquely American pastime of comparative consumption, please share a fragment of that moment and how you navigated its complexities. Your story, your vulnerability, could become a beacon of empowerment for someone else currently wrestling with those same pressures. And tell me, what does genuine inner freedom, a state truly beyond materialism, look and feel like to you? Describe that liberated landscape. Here at Ancient Wisdom Unlocked, we aspire to be more than just a channel, a fleeting digital distraction. We aim to be a sanctuary, a fellowship, a gathering of fellow travelers united on this sacred path towards profound, life-altering understanding. I warmly invite you to subscribe to become an active participant in this unfolding dialogue as we continue to explore and unlock the boundless true wealth that lies often dormant and undiscovered within the sacred precinct of each human spirit. And so we arrive at a pivotal understanding: ultimate wealth. The wealth that nourishes the soul and endures beyond the fleeting fashions of any age is not a distant destination to be arduously reached, nor a finite commodity to be hoarded. It is in its most profound sense a way of being. It is the unshakable sovereign freedom to define your own intrinsic worth, independent of societal applause or censure. It is the unwavering courage to live authentically by your own deepest held values, even when those values run counter to the prevailing cultural currents. And it is the luminous wisdom to find true, inexhaustible abundance, not in the glittering yet ultimately ephemeral trinkets of the material world, but in the boundless, ever-generative richness of your own awakened spirit, your own cultivated character, your own compassionate heart. This, and only this, is the true wealth that Ancient Wisdom Unlocked is dedicated to illuminating, to celebrating, to helping you reclaim. Thank you with deepest gratitude for joining me on this extended exploration, this deeper dive into the currents of what truly matters. If these words, these reflections have stirred something resonant within the quiet chambers of your heart, I encourage you to share this message. Let its ripples of awakening spread, touching other souls who may be yearning for this same liberation. And remember with gentle persistence to subscribe and to activate the bell of notification for our collective journey into the very heart of timeless wisdom, into the sanctum of your own potential, has truly only just begun. Until our paths cross again, live with profound intention, seek with unwavering diligence, and cherish the wealth that genuinely, eternally endures. Peace profound and abundant be with you.